If you're up early enough to catch the sunrise and the conditions are right, you may be treated to a showcase of amazing colors in the sky. Local photographer Jamie Malcolm Brown captures scenes like this across New England, earning himself a reputation as one of the best landscape photographers in the region. Connecting Point's Ross Lippman met Malcolm Brown on a recent early morning where the sunrise and Malcolm Brown's photos didn't disappoint.
In the early morning hours when most of us are still asleep, Jamie Malcolm Brown is awake.
Getting pretty close.
And waiting.
Yeah, nice.
For signs in the sky.
Oh yeah, we're getting some real nice color through the trees too.
Malcolm Brown is a landscape and aerial photographer. Here at Cranberry Pond in Montague, his cameras are set and his drone is ready.
I mean, this kind of light lasts, if you're lucky, 15 minutes.
Soon, these faint hints of pinks, reds, and purples will burst with color. And that's when Malcolm Brown takes flight.
Oh yeah, this is a nice guy. We lucked out.
Capturing a sunrise like this, with so much color and brilliance, is what Malcolm Brown describes as an inexact science.
As much time as I spend looking at the weather maps, I get dud after dud because all it takes is one low cloud on the horizon to kill everything.
Though this is certainly not one of those days. It's the kind where a picture is worth at least 1,000 words.
I mean, I always loved like the idea of photography. Like growing up, my family had like the old big giant VHS camera that you had on your shoulder, and I was always using that at family parties and stuff.
His childhood passion has grown into Malcolm Brown being one of the most well-known photographers in New England, based here in Western Massachusetts, living in Shutesbury. On social media, his work is shared by thousands of followers. The tagline for his posts, a reflection of his philosophy: get out and explore however you can.
I mean, primarily it's the love of being outside. Like, I love to be out exploring new places. I like that drama of things that people don't normally see because they're asleep.
From sunrises and sunsets to capturing the Milky Way in the night sky, Malcolm Brown uses his passion for photography to fuel those days he gets little sleep.
On Mondays, I'm working full-time, homeschooling, and trying to manage my social media presence, which is how like photographers these days get their work out. And it's some days I just can't do it, and it's difficult, but it's the next morning that excites me. The next morning that I can get out for a couple hours and hopefully capture something beautiful.
He's also exploring new ways to capture that beauty. At Gunbrook Falls, just down the road in Sunderland, Malcolm Brown is testing out his new slider. It's a device that he'll program to move his camera little by little, capturing one frame at a time. It's hundreds in total that, when put together, gives you a unique perspective.
Landscape photography is really just the act of being out in the landscape and capturing an image, but I use new tools for that. So like the drone gives you a new perspective that you can't get otherwise. And then the slider that I'm using, it can show movement and time in a way that the human eye can't see.
Malcolm Brown's goal is for photography to become his full-time job in the next 5 years, though he doesn't think it'll happen simply by selling his work. Instead, it'll be through sharing his knowledge with other photographers.
I think making this a living is going to depend on me finding a way to teach other photographers how to do things. So doing more workshops, writing ebooks and doing tutorials, Like that's the way I think that most landscape photographers are making money.
Until then, he's at a point where he makes enough money through photography to keep buying new equipment and pay for his travel. Though there's still no putting a price on some of the experiences he's had, including here in Western Mass.
One morning, it was like super foggy. The sun came up with the fog, and one tree in somebody's yard just looked amazing. Like the sun was glowing behind it. I had on my long lens, just jumped out of the car, took some snaps, and it doesn't look like you're in Massachusetts. Like that moment was just extraordinary.